You look beautiful, Grace.
Look, I hate Zoom.
No, wait, I'm glad some people have their cameras on. I want to give you guys a thumbs up for cameras. Yay.
Had a hard time trying to figure it out, but I got it.
Well, you know what? It's better for me to feel like I'm talking to people than
Right.
than squares with,
Mhm.
with names. Although I love the fact that you're here and you have a square. Okay, great. But
It's hard to figure out, but if you keep playing, it works.
well, Zoom even has filters to kind of smooth out the skin.
Oh, where are they?
when you go to the video icon down at the bottom, and you click it, there's your mute button, then your video button. There's one that says choose video filter, choose virtual background. So there's like different little different things that you can do. I forget where the skin one. I mean, we don't need people with like dog noses. And
This is it. I should put my sunglasses on, but I was wondering because I'm new at the referral program, so I didn't know if I signed into the right webinar.
You're here. You're here. See wait, where am I? This hand. Okay, I'm on mirror. My Weichert Referral Associate thing right there.
That's good. So it's
Place.
good. Because I know there's another one coming up on the 26th. It says for orientation. So
you should come to that one too. That one I do a very quick overview, like it's usually 30 minutes or less, and I find out a little bit more about you. I give a quicker, like broader overview of the program and can answer specific questions because those tend to be 5 people, 6 people, 7 people at a time. You know what I mean? They're small. So I could spend more time answering.
I will try at 6 o'clock also. The thing is, I'm having shoulder replacement surgery on the 27th.
Oh.
And that's tough. And so I got a lot going on. And also, my husband was diagnosed with prostate cancer. So we're running around. So
oh my goodness.
that's why I wanted to come in today and see what I could pick up and then join when things settle down.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to get started because we got people coming in and I like to try to start somewhat quickly. So I'll introduce myself for those who haven't gotten to be on before. I see a lot of familiar names and faces, so thank you all. I'm Karen. I am the Vice President of Sales for the company. I joined the company about 4 months ago, so I'm somewhat new. In the meantime, actually, I'm going to ask everybody to mute their, I'll mute anybody I spot, just so we don't hear random background noise. And then if we need to chat, we'll unmute. I think I got everybody. Okay. So I joined about 4 months ago. So it is totally feasible. You will ask me a question that I don't know the answer to, but I promise I will find an answer if I don't know the answer to something. So I am going to share my screen. You ever see me starting to talk and you think I should have a screen shared and I've not shared it? Somebody tell me. Like, hey, you didn't share your screen. Sometimes I unshare it and then forget to reshare it. All righty. Oh, we don't really, I misspelled connection. Oh, look at that. Keep your so if you have a webcam, turn it on. We keep mics muted. At the very end, we do a raffle. We do 2 raffles, actually, one for a box of business cards and one for a $50 gift card. So some of the things we're going to do today, we're going to do a quick market update because the market has been really crazy. So I want to give you a little insight as to what we're seeing on our side and what we might be expecting. Then we're going to talk about scripts. I'll tell you about some different training and development things I have in the works and Q&A. And I totally don't mind if this is like an interactive. If you guys have questions, I'll try to stop in between each segment a little bit and see if anybody has specific questions. I also, for more impromptu, when you guys registered, you put some questions down. So I actually have a lot of really good questions in here that I might just intersperse in between segments and then open it up for any conversation that we have. Let's see. Let me move that off the screen in case that was there. So we have a growing and expanding team, which is really exciting for me and also exciting for you because there's going to be more people available to help you with things. So Lucia is our membership coordinator along with Holly. So Holly is new. So some of you may have spoken with her, but maybe not. So they help onboard people. So now that you're here, you won't have as much to do with them. You would be kind of in the next group, which is our referral experience coordinators. And we have Juan and we have Angelique, who is also new to the company, but not actually new to Weichert. She was a Weichert agent for a while. And then she was a branch manager for another company where I knew her. And I, asked her, I thought this was a good spot for her. And so she came over and joined us here as a referral experience coordinator. So Juan and Angelique help place the referrals for you. And also will be your point person, almost like a mini branch manager within the group. I'm going to be dividing up the roster so you have somebody assigned to you. So if you have a question, you actually have a phone number, they will answer their phone, you will reach them. We're getting 2 more people added to that team. So we'll have a total of 4 people, which is up from 1. So that's a big change. We're going to have 4 instead of 1. So lots more bodies to help you with things. Narvis is our licensing manager. Beverly is commissions, and Brittany is also licensing. So that's the team. I'm trying to get this to, hey, it was not going forward. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Okay, we'll start with a little bit of, this is not wanting to move the right direction. All right, so probably most people have heard, but this is what we're hearing. Obviously, mortgage rates will increase again in July and probably again by the 4th quarter. So for those of you that have buyer potential referrals or family friends thinking of buying, it's really important to try to tell them, like, they can't be waiting for the market to turn around because the market interest rates are going up and they're going to stay up for a bit, but we're going to talk about that in a second. So on the heels of the inflation rate being higher than expected, it was 9.1 versus 8.8, it is very likely the Fed will raise their interest rates on July 27th. The best estimate is that the Federal Reserve will raise the rates 75 basis points, and this type of increase will kind of push interest rates above 6%, with higher, even in the mid to upper 6s expected, I think, by the end of the second half of the year. So now is a good time to let your customers know about that. They need to act now, and they shouldn't hesitate, because if they act now, they can get better financing. And if interest rates do come down, and they will at some point come down, people can always refinance. So we'll talk about that again a little more. The big question I think everybody has been asking, anybody that they know in real estate, is, should I buy now? And there's a lot of buyer fatigue out in the market from the past 2 years. And I think a lot of people have started to feel like, oh, I don't have it in me anymore. I'm going to wait a little while until it cools down. And it's kind of a double-edged sword, because it is cooling down a little bit in terms of the amount of showings. They are, slowing down a little bit in certain markets more than others. The West started to slow down, Northeast. I mean, everybody is, but the West in particular. But when everybody gets nervous about mortgage rates, for those of us who have been alive for more than 25 years, like the millennials, if we have been around where we've bought houses in the 80s or the 90s or at any point, in between, we've seen all of these ups and downs with the mortgage rates, right? In the 80s, I was talking with my husband, and he was saying, the first apartment he bought in Hoboken was a 13% adjustable rate mortgage that then adjusted in the first year to 15%, and ultimately I think went as high as 18%. So when we're talking about, like, we have interest rates in the 5s and it's going up into the 6s, historically, that's not really terrible, and we're not in a housing crisis by any stretch of the imagination. The mortgage companies have been very good about not doing crazy products and unqualified people, but the mortgage rates, are getting up there, right? They're moving up. But historically, the average, and I felt like a Jeopardy or a trivia question winner in the car ride recently with my family, and they're like, I wonder what the average interest rate has been over the past however long. I go 7.77%, because I had this slide. So I told them average interest historically over the last 50 years was 7.77%. So we're still below the average. And, this chart really says it all. It goes up, it dips, it goes up, it dips, it goes up, it dips, it comes down, it dips, but, so wherever people are at now, they can change it, down the road. If we ever have one of those magical lottery winner moments where it's 2.7 again, they can refi, but now they got to kind of get in. So I'm going to see if anybody has the answer to this trivia question. According to the Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies, what percentage of single-family home sales were made up by investors in the first quarter of 2022? Anybody have a guess? You could just unmute yourself. I won't try to call you out, but if somebody thinks they know the answer, shout it out. All these people on, nobody wants to guess? Somebody.
45.
No, but you know what? Not that far off, because it's 28%. So, that's a lot. And that's a big piece of why the inventory has kind of tightened, is there's been so many mom and pop investors, but institutional investors buying up huge amounts of property. Now, that might not be happening so much, let's say in Bergen County per se, where, big insurance companies or companies that have lots of money to invest have decided to put it into real estate, and they're buying up, developments or whatever, but definitely it's happening more in the South and the Midwest and the West. But it's a huge portion. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. So remind me to share again before I go. Does anybody have any thoughts about how anybody they've been talking to is feeling about the interest rate situation? Are people really nervous, or are they kind of like, it is what it is? And anybody have anything they want to share? And if you do, you have to unmute.
No, but people are, getting a little antsy, I think, seeing that they don't know how high it's going to go. I mean, the market past year was insane.
Yeah.
I know, running around with a few people looking and putting contracts in, and then they back out, and they keep thinking the market's going to change. I'm going to wait, and it's just becomes frustrating. And then the interest rates are starting to go up, and you try to convince them now's the time, and then you get tired of running and wasting your time.
It is. It's been rough on buyers, and that's why, in some regards, I know everybody is like, they get scared because the interest rates are going up, but what it's doing, it's relaxing the market a tiny bit, because there's not that frenzy of the buyers that, there were so many more. And I look at it in our numbers on how many buyer referrals we're getting versus seller referrals. And last year, I'm doing this by memory, I didn't write this down for this, but last year, like 65, 67, 68% were buyers and the balance were sellers. Whereas right now it's 50-50, like in terms of the referrals from you guys that are coming in, which to me means there's a lot less random buyers running around thinking, well, I'm going to just throw an offer in. I'm going to make an offer. I'm going to make an offer, because the interest rates were so low. There were so many buyers in that market that they were, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 offers on a property. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was literally like trying to win a lottery. So now there's not that, there's multiple offers, things are still going above, but it's not like insane. So if you have people that are buyers, I'd encourage them to dip their toe back in, because the sizzle of the craziness with the rising of the interest rates has gone down a little bit, and that's going to impact some of the sellers who are not going to see the insane appreciation year after, month after month, never mind year after year, that they were seeing. It was like, it was crazy. It was not sustainable either, in reality. So that kind of leads into, and I'm going to share my screen so I don't forget. Leads into a lot of the scripts that I want to talk about, and it's less about having nailing down specific words, but like, a lot of the questions, I'm looking at the list of questions people gave, and this is such a simple question, and it is probably the biggest question. How do you get leads? How do you get leads, right? That is like the number one question. And there's a million ways to get leads, right? So the idea, it's the same if you were an active agent at one point. It's like, you got to think about the people because if you're, okay, I'm going to use myself as an example. My kids are 19 to 30, basically, right? I am, in effect, in theory, an empty nester, although some of those birds have come back into my nest. But in theory, I'm out of the schools. I don't need to be in a town like Ridgewood with crazy high taxes, in theory. And I probably know 20 people, 30 people, 40 people who were all my kids' friends' parents who are also empty nesters, and they're probably thinking, do I really need this big house anymore? I don't have all these kids at home. I don't need to pay this kind of town's taxes. And so you got to think in like demographic groups of the people, because you could start with yourself. Are you somebody who's retiring, thinking of downsizing, thinking about moving to North or South Carolina or Maryland or Florida or Arizona or whatever? Because if you are thinking of that, probably your contemporaries are thinking that. And you got to go deep, because then it's the people they know are also thinking about that. But these are just, when I think about who should I be looking at, it's people getting married. They are very committed to buying. I have a 27-year-old daughter who is very committed, getting married next year, very committed to buying in the next 1 or 2 years. Maybe people having their first, second, third, fourth child, and so their housing needs are changing. Empty nesters with recent grads, people retiring, or people who have family far away. My in-laws moved to Florida because one of the kids moved to Florida, and then they followed and moved to Florida. And so again, there's these like migration patterns in families and social groups that happens. People getting divorced, people recently widowed, unfortunately, or people who maybe need a different type of home. They need a master bedroom on the first floor because they have knee problems, or they want to live in a 55 and older community. Whatever it is, there's going to be groups. And I had a really interesting conversation today with a referral associate, because they had called in to talk about how they got, something about their referral. And I said, so how did you get this referral? Where did it come from? And I'm just going to share this because it's a great tip. She goes, oh, I get all of my referrals. She goes, I'm in all these Facebook groups, moving, I'm going to make up a town, but like, I love Ridgewood, or Ridgewood moms and dads, or moving to Bergen County, or living in Boonton, or this one or that one. She goes, and I always see people posting, hey, do you have a recommendation for somebody to help? I'm looking for a house, or I'm looking to sell, or I'm looking whatever. And this particular one happened to say, I'm looking to sell my dad's house. I'm probably thinking of moving him into assisted living. Does anybody have a recommendation? And she messaged, she probably commented in the group, but then she messaged within Facebook. It said, hey, actually, I recently had to do something similar. She said, I'm not a realtor. I work for Weichert. I'm a Weichert Referral Associate. So what that means is I can actually recommend some people to you. I have a really good person that I can recommend. Are you interested in, me giving you the name of somebody really good? And that's how she got the referral. I mean, it was literally this was a stranger, and stranger referrals are harder, to get. It may take a bunch of times poking around in those groups, but so I just thought I'd share that as one idea. So when you're talking with buyers, we have a bunch of social media campaigns and material that I want to share with you guys, and it's available, should be by today. They told me they would have it in the Weichert Design Center today. I didn't get a chance to check, but if it's not today, it'll be tomorrow. So Weichert is promoting their agents taking exclusive listings. And what that means is, for a period of time, it could be a few days, it could be a week, before it goes on the MLS, before it's on Zillow and Realtor.com and every other public website, they take an exclusive listing, they let us know, and they can show it because it's it's not a coming soon, which you can't show if it's a coming soon. It is a true exclusive listing. And we're promoting it with Weichert agents, sales associates, referral associates. Hey, did you know that we have exclusive listings that we can get you in to see before they even hit the market? So when you talk about your buyers that are burnt out and your buyers that, are tired of the competition, you could say, I'll go into a specific script in a minute, but I want to just show you some of the material. So, and it's even, we have them customize it. So it says announcing an exclusive listing that's only available to Weichert referral associates and their clients. Contact me to get priority access. So, some kind of language, and I'll share this whole thing as a PDF with you guys after the webinar, but some kind of language that you can use if you're talking to buyers. You can say, did you know that we have a See It First program where you can get notified about exclusive listings before they're available to the public and you can get in and see them? Would you want to know when there's some available in the towns you're looking in? That's a referral right there. They could be, and can I tell you, I've done real estate for a lot of years, and not that I'm encouraging buyers to not be loyal to their agents, but buyers in this market are really not loyal to their agents a lot, right? They're jumping from open house to open house and listing agent to listing agent. But if we can connect with them with somebody with the enticement of, hey, we're going to actually have some exclusives we can get you into before they hit the open market. And, you might be able to make an offer before it's even on the MLS. That might make a buyer take notice and maybe really connect with one of those people. But all you need for somebody to do is say, yeah, I'd love to hear about those. Okay, great. What's your name? And their name. What's your email or cell phone or best way for some, I'll have somebody get in touch with you so you can make sure you get, first crack at things before they hit the market. So I'm going to stop there for 1 second. Like, what do you, how do you guys feel about that? I think to me, that's such an easy sell. And you can post on Facebook with one of those graphics. Hey, if you're looking and frustrated, we have listings that are exclusive that aren't even on the MLS. If you're looking in certain towns and not having any luck, let me know. I can connect you with somebody who could get you into these exclusive listings. We don't even need to say what the listing is because they come on, they come off, they come on, they come off. They're all over the place. But is that kind of language something that you guys think you'd feel comfortable with in like a very soft sell kind of way? I don't think it's pushing.
Would we have access to what is available? Like if I have a,
I'm going to find out how and that's the trickier part because you can't be promoting non-public real estate information. You know what I mean? So because these aren't on the MLS yet. So for me, the best way is to say, look, these come on, they're on, these come on, they're exclusive for a few days and then they're off. So if you want to get notified when there are things like in these towns around here that you're looking in, let me connect you with one of our sales associates that gets access to these exclusive listings. Because you're not supposed to be functioning as, doing real estate searches and, I know it's hard to turn it off because we all are used to our daily hot sheets and, I can't quite give up the MLS, but I still have my license active so I can have it. But, but I just think it's a really great way to try to tap into the frustration the buyers feel and maybe let them say, oh, yeah, I'd like to, and you're just trying to make a connection for them with somebody. So anyway, so we have all of that, all of those graphics, social media things to download and they're in Weichert RA Design Center. And if they're not there today, they will be there by tomorrow because I will beat them up and make sure they're there. So sellers, another kind of language that I think is helpful to use with potential sellers, because again, we all know sellers are like, well, I could sell, but then I don't know what I'm going to buy and, whatever. And our goal as referral associates is to make the referral and let the sales associates really try to work that connection and turn it into something. You don't have to have them ready, willing, and able right at that moment. We're making connections, basically. We're matchmaking. So instead of saying, oh, are you thinking of selling? I could have somebody do a CMA for you, which feels really like when you walk into a store and somebody says, can I help you? And you're like, No, I'm just looking, you know, because like they don't want to commit, but like if you use language like, you know, you're having a conversation at a pool party and you know, you're talking about whatever and they're saying their kids are graduating, and even without saying, are you selling directly? You could be like, so what are your plans for the house over the next few years? Your kids are, you know, moving out. What, you know, what are you thinking of doing? Listen, right? And then you'd say, well, would you be interested in a free home equity analysis of your home, so you know how much it's currently worth and how much equity you have? You don't have to even be ready to sell right now, but at least you'll know, you know, how much your house is worth and how much equity with this, you know, appreciating market you have, you know. And I always joke and say, whatever you do, don't rely on, because everybody's like, well, you know, I looked on Zillow and I have a Zestimate. I'm like, well, don't rely on your Zillow Zestimate. And I'm like, Zillow lost $880 million last year on their inaccurate Zestimates, because they had that like iBuyer program where they were buying homes and then reselling them, but they were basing their purchases on their own Zestimates, and they were so off that they lost $880 million doing that. So you can always tell people that, yeah, that they had to shut down their own program because their estimates were so inaccurate. So don't rely on his estimate. Let somebody come in. You don't have to be ready to sell right at this minute, you know. And so I think it's figuring out ways to have conversations with people without making them feel like they're imposing because they're not really ready to sell right now, or it could be 6 months from now, it could be 9 months from now. But if you try to make the connections and let the sales associates start to really nurture them, that's the piece that we're in charge of, the introduction, and then the rest of it's up to them. So I don't know, does anybody?
But it is frustrating, you know, being active and then go to referral, and that, you know, I want to go on the MLS. And I'm like, oh, you know, I can't. And I'm like, well, you know, it's frustrating because I feel like if we had access to that, we could see what's available and then refer our clients. So it kind of puts.
But you have to do it in the, I mean, look, you can, we all do what I joke, I'm like, we're all like Zillow porn, you know, we're always like on Zillow though, you know, doing all the home searches, and it's like, okay, I'm searching for homes in this town, this town, this town, this town. It's not the MLS, but you know, you can have a pretty good idea of what's going on in the market, just doing Zillow or Realtor.com or Redfin, any of those like aggregating services. But the idea is really to step back from trying to, as a referral associate, and it's hard, especially if you were active. Some people weren't like super active and they came to us, so they don't have that ingrained muscle memory of working with buyers and sellers and the need to kind of be very involved in the process. I think you have to consider yourself now more of a matchmaker, introductory person. They can use you as like an advisor, a consultant, you know, if they have a question and they want your opinion on something, you know, you have to function in that capacity, but you can't try to be an active agent while being a referral associate.
Hard to switch off. It really is hard to switch off.
Oh, can I tell you, we joke because there are some, I'm like, if you're used to running that daily hot sheet, knowing everything that's coming on, the minute it hits, it is a tough habit to break. It's like not having a cup of coffee in the morning. I get it. Does anybody else have any questions kind of on this section? I can even look at some of the questions, you guys, before I go on to the next. All right, I'm going to read some of the questions you guys put in case people are shy and don't want to ask. So we kind of talked about rising interest rates, recession affecting the market. One is, how can I get materials to easily share on social media to promote the fact that I'm a referral agent from time to time? So the answer to that is Weichert RA Design Center. I think I have a slide later on with that address and more information. And it's definitely, if you're not in the Facebook group yet, be in the Facebook group because I post stuff there all the time. But Weichert RA Design Center is being updated a bit. So some of the interface is going to change to be more user-friendly and nicer visually. But basically, I've been posting or uploading into there a lot of media that you can brand to yourself. You can upload a photo into Design Center, and then it like pops it into all the designs. I think I have some slides later on about that. So I think it was in this presentation I did that for. So that's where you're going to get a lot of them, or in the Facebook group. Or if you go to Weichert Referrals Facebook page, like the actual public facing page, I once or twice a week post a blog or some other kind of more consumer friendly, like it might be staging tips, it might be whatever that you can share onto your own personal Facebook page with, again, a little reminder, hey, if you're in the market, let me know, I'd love to help, however you want to phrase it. Some of the questions people had: is there a amount of referrals you must do in a year? Nope, but the more you do, the more you make. So I would suggest,
Question.
yeah.
So that,
Yeah.
no. I would just say that was one of the questions. I thought, is there a quota? Do we have to do?
There are no quotas. There are no requirements really, in terms of what you do. I would love for those of you, and I feel like the people who show up here are the people who are interested in doing business, right? That, to me, that's a pretty easy metric to say. If you're coming and spending time with me, you probably want to do business. So for you guys, like I said, I'm going to be assigning everybody probably in the next 2 weeks to one of the referral experience coordinators. And they're not just there to take your referral order. They're not just order takers. They're going to try to talk to you once a month and be like, hey, here are some talking points you can share, like on social media, or you can share in your personal conversations with people. Do you need some help updating some of your marketing material? Like, I could help you get the branding set up. Or are you trying to order business cards and having a problem? Let me help you. I think we need that. The reason I've expanded our team is I feel like we needed more people to give more hands-on help to you guys, so that if you are interested, the tech doesn't stand in your way, or the how do I do this doesn't stand in your way, so that we can kind of coach and help grow those. I love this other question. Hold on. Can referral associates make double commission on the listing side and the buyer side on one referral? Well, I don't see why not, because if you refer the listing and then you happen to know somebody for the buyer and you refer the buyer, you can make commission on both sides. So I would say yes, that would be wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, move on to the next section a little bit. I'll do more questions in between. Let this, come on, let's go to the next. Oh, come on, what is it doing? Sorry, it's just not letting me see the bottom. There we go. Hang on, bear with me while I scroll through everything we did. Oh my goodness, it just like keeps not letting me go past. Hang on. Scripts, we did that. We did see it first. We did sellers. Hang on 2 seconds, we're almost there. It just is like, we did that. Okay, here we go. Okay. So coming soon. Sorry about that. This is I went home to do this tonight, so now I'm not quite set up the way I was in my office. It's a little tricky. So we're going to start with our soon-to-be 4 referral experience coordinators. Right now we have 2. As of next week, we'll have 3. We have a 4th one, hopefully by the end of August. For those that are interested and maybe kind of liked when they were in an office, if they had a little accountability group or they had a coaching group, to meet once a week, half an hour, to kind of do some coaching, do some accountability, do some motivation. So that will be run by our referral experience coordinator team. And it'll be really based on whatever you guys are looking for. So we'll get some feedback for what you want that to be. It may be just a quick technical, this is how you do this. This is how you update your Facebook page to change your job and all of this. This is how you create a Facebook business page, or this is how you can post certain social media, or whatever it is. It's going to be whatever you guys need it to be. So that's going to start by the end of the summer. In the next couple of weeks, we will get that going. I'm also planning an in-person training day, which will be simultaneously virtual. But for those that are in the Morris Plains area or New Jersey area, we've had some requests for an in-person day. It's going to have some in-person coaching that goes on. We're also going to do free business card headshots. So if you feel like you need a new photo, it doesn't have to be for a business card, because the photo business cards that we have, I don't know, supply chain is the only answer I got from anybody. They went up a lot. The regular ones are still like $20, but the picture ones went up a lot. So I don't think you need a picture business card, but you may want it for your social media posts, for branding purposes, because all of our social media customizable stuff is free for you guys. So it would be great if you had a nice photo. So if you're in the Morris Plains area, we're going to offer free photos. So we'll do that. And then I'm kind of doing a roundtable later this month for people who maybe want to participate and help give some ideas, steer the direction a little with us to say, what are you interested in? What can I help you with? What things do you want more of from us? I think I have a few more slides here to go over, but I'll stop again briefly. Is there any particular questions, thoughts, suggestions, anything? Anything anybody have? I don't want to cut anybody off.
I just feel,
Question.
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, who was that? Who was asking? I couldn't tell. Mayor?
Yeah.
Mayor?
Mary Goodman, right. You said before, if somebody wants to buy now, but they don't want to because they know interest rates are going up and they think it's a bad time to get into the market. You said you could tell them that they can just refinance when the rates go down. But don't they lose an awful lot of money? Don't they have to pay?
But it depends. They may be saving a lot too, and also, well, you don't have to get, you don't have to give them the details. They should talk to a mortgage person, to talk about what their options are. But especially in this market, if it's for example, if my daughter was buying and I'm like, this is not going to be her forever home, she's going to be somewhere for 7 years probably, and then want something bigger down the road, I might suggest, well, why don't you do a 7-year, a 7/1 adjustable rate mortgage, bring it down a little bit, because you're probably selling within 7 years, and the money you've saved on that adjustable rate mortgage is a good hedge, against, even if you have to. I mean, finances are people's personal decisions, so I don't want you to get too involved in giving mortgage.
If I'm trying to get her to buy a house, and she's saying she'd rather wait till she sees what's happening in the market, or the market's making her feel like they don't want to buy, they just want to wait.
Well, so unless somebody's living with family, which might be the case for some people, rents have hit historic highs, nationwide. But I could tell you in Manhattan, and I know we're not all have people who live in Manhattan, but it's an indicator of a lot of markets. It has literally hit a historic high for average rents in Manhattan. Not even just recently, historic.
She's already renting. She's renting now, and they would like to buy. So their rent is already set.
Look, everybody's circumstances are different. I just think if people are waiting,
Okay.
if they're watching the interest rates to make their decision, they're just going to be watching them go up over these next few years. At some point, people usually buy for life reasons, not investing reasons. So people have to think about why they're buying. Are they buying because they want to put down roots? They want to maybe start a family. They want to be able to decorate the way they want to decorate, or make changes the way they want to make their changes, and they can't do it in a rental. So people at some point have to say, well, am I an investor or am I doing this to live? And then over time, the market always goes up over time. You know what I mean? It's literally always goes up over a certain period of time. So people have to make their own decisions financially, but I just don't think we should encourage people to kind of watch the interest rates, because they're just going to keep watching them go up for right now, in the short term.
I think that's a good point. I appreciate your input on that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't think I'm sharing, but at every webinar, I like to make sure I give people this information. When you have a referral to place, the first thing you have to do, and this is breaking bad habits for a lot of you, is to call us. Don't call an office. Don't call some friend of yours that's an agent and then refer your person to that agent and get the wheels in motion and do all of this stuff and then call us 3 days before it's closing to say, oh, I have a referral that's closing next week. You have to start with us. You have to call and say, I have a referral. It's a buyer, it's a seller, whoever it is. If you know who you want it to go to, you can tell us, I want this to go to Mary Sue in the Morristown office. That's fine, we'll get it. And then you can start connecting people and doing whatever, but it should come to us. We need to place it. We do the paperwork. Don't use old forms. Don't have agents sign forms, because we have to get the manager to sign off on it, just so you know. So the way you guys get it to us, you can either go to weichertreferrals.com, and there's a big yellow button that says place a referral. And so you just click, you fill out as much of the form as you can. At the bottom, you'll see a little magnifying glass to search for your name. You put in your first name, your last name, it fills that in so we know who it came from. And then we usually call you because we have most of the information, but we still may have questions. Or you can just email us, or you can call us. But start with us at the very beginning rather than at the end. It definitely works better. Referrals are placed at 37.5%, just so everybody knows, because it gets you guys more money. So I want to encourage you all to not fight me on that. That is what referrals are placed at. I have people going, no, I only want to do it for 25%. I'm like, okay, I don't know which way we're arguing this, but you're making less money. I don't know why we're arguing this. So referrals aren't 25%. That used to be when it was branch to branch, like when you were an active agent and you're like, oh, I'm gonna refer this to this other market and I'm gonna do it myself, and and you can negotiate anything you want. That's when you were an active agent. This is like these are like company generated leads. They're placed at 37.5. When it goes to a Weichert agent, there's no arguing about it. And even if you said it was something different, it's still going to be 37.5. Just so you know, when it's going to brand X, and I'm going to give you guys the real scoop and skinny, we don't always get it. We usually get it, but we don't always get it. And I'm never going to let you guys lose the referral over it. So if you're like, look, I needed to go to so-and-so at brand X, because that's who my clients want to work with, and those people are saying, we'll only do 30%, or we'll only, I'm gonna make that happen so that nobody loses the referral. But I ask that you let us give it wherever possible. Let us do our thing so we can earn more money for you guys. I feel like sometimes we're all working across odds there. You know, it's like we want you to make more money. And if we place it, we usually can get it. Now, like I said, there will be certain markets and certain times or certain circumstances that it can't happen. And I will work with you individually when those come up. But that's why if you come to us first, we can sort it all out before people have connected clients, because we can't fix it. When you say, well, there's an offer already, or it's closing in a week, and we can't undo things that were done at that point. It doesn't work. So, see, I was ahead of myself. Our referrals are priced at 37. Hang on. So you'll also be getting emails if you haven't already, but they're periodically coming out. I feel like my 30 days is more like 45 days at the moment to success, but because I'm still putting it all together. But we've created a series of small videos to train you on different things, or give you so that you don't have to sit through big long trainings. It's like a 3-minute video, a 5-minute video on how to do specific things. They'll come every couple of days. They're also on YouTube. I usually also put them in the Facebook group. So and I'm going to be adding topics as we go along just to help you guys learn things. The Facebook group, and somebody asked a question, I forget what the question was. What criteria is required to join Facebook? Is it allowed to include your maiden name when one state license doesn't? Absolutely. The Facebook group is just us. Nothing to do with your license, or like I'm Karen Gibson Lampiasi, but my license is Karen Lampiasi. It doesn't matter. And the reason I like the Facebook group, for those of you who are on Facebook, is it lets me answer people's questions quickly, get some feedback. I post things, but I don't feel like I'm always bothering you by emailing every little thing. It lets you participate if you want, but not if you want. And if you want to be like, oh, I can't remember where to find such and such a thing, it's usually in there and you can find it. So it's just using it as a resource for you guys. So I do urge you to join. If you just go, search in the groups on Facebook, that's That's what it is. You will find us. If you haven't, I'm assuming probably all of you guys have renewed, but if you haven't renewed, please renew. And just a reminder, this is not license renewals. I'm not sure what state everybody here is in, but New Jersey is next year for licenses. So nothing to do for your license in New Jersey this year. Pennsylvania was May 31st of this year. So those folks, hopefully they renewed their license. And every state is a little different. So I just wanted to clear up though that New Jersey is next year. We're also working on a whole bunch of social media campaigns that if we get your story and we get your information, we will create it for you. We will promote it and you can promote it. So in the Facebook group, you see, I have a post that says like, kind of tell me your story. Tell me why you are a referral associate. Do you like to travel and you're saving money for that? Or do you like to, you know, go on boating trips or vacations, or you're just paying off your bills or whatever, you know, just a little trying to personalize it, you know, as opposed to the nuts and bolts of doing referrals. Like, let us highlight some of you guys because you're interesting people. You know, you guys have a lot of interesting stories, like Claude does rescue missions, I don't know, in the Grand Canyon or something, you know, whatever. He likes to travel and do that. So it's like people can relate to different things. I know I spoke with somebody who loves to travel in an RV, and she travels all over the country in her RV. And I had different like marketing ideas for her based on her story. So definitely share your stories with us because we would love to feature you. And that's called the What's Your Why. It's, I think my promotion, the visual, the graphics is What's My Why. And then it has your story and your photo. So we're going to be picking a few. And if we pick you, you can get a $50 gift card. You know, anybody looking for jobs? Like we have career, like salary jobs at Weichert corporate and branch offices. So check out the job website. One last little small thing. If you are in the market for car insurance, home insurance, or just want to get a quote, if you do it through Weichert, and I'll send this out so you have where to send it, for just getting the quote, you get $50 gift card. Just for doing the quote, even if you don't change insurance companies and go with them, but they write for everybody, travelers, you know, whoever, everybody. But if you do the quote, they'll give you $50. So it's worth it to do it. And you could also refer other people. And if they do the quote, you can get a $50 gift. Oh, there's only one gift card per quote. So if you want to get that $50 gift card for them, or you can give it to them, whichever, depends on how close you are with them. But I'll send everybody the link to do that. Yeah, so that's that. And I am sharing direct. I know probably the number one frustration I hear from folks is that nobody ever answers our phone, which I get how frustrating that is, because it's like those automated voicemail systems that you press this to go here and this to go there. These are our direct numbers, and I'm going to send this to you. And I posted it in the Facebook group too. I'm going to send it to you. So hopefully you can just call us direct. Now, if we're on another call, it's going to bounce to voicemail, but it's bouncing to our voicemail, not the general mailbox. So you will get a call back.
That first number is wrong, I think.
Oh, typo. Oh, it is. Thank you, Grace. I'm going to have to fix that. Well, that is wrong. Thank you. You know how many times I've looked at this slide? And I didn't see it. But okay, it's 973. So I'll fix that before I resend it out. But yeah, so 973. Well, that's great. Don't call the main number anyway. Don't call it. Call us direct, depending on.
Because I today, I was like panicking.
It's very frustrating. I was trying to call another organization today, and I kept getting voicemail. If you need this, and I was like, I don't know what the. So now I totally understood how everybody felt with the voicemail. I wasn't calling us, but that's what it felt like. It was very frustrating. Before I do the raffle, I just want to unshare for a second. Does anybody have any other questions? It could be direct to your situation or general or anything.
No, I maybe again, being that I'm going to be out of commission for a little while, I'm going to try to get into the webinar still.
And And I record them and I post the link in the Facebook group also. So if you ever, so the two ones that I do each month, which I just call like July webinar, August webinar, whatever. I do two. I do one at noon on one day and one at 6 on another day. So people can, but it's the same, I do it live, but it's the same. And then I also pick one of them that I messed up less in than the other, usually, I guess. And I post the link to that one in the Facebook group and I upload it into YouTube. And so people can always watch it down the road at their own time. And then, we have like the new member orientations, which also, just so you guys know, is not just for new members. If you're, just haven't really ever participated a lot or you have questions, I'm considering, I got to come up with a better name for it, but it's just another small group chance to ask your questions or get some information.
How do you find it on YouTube?
I'm going to set, so because we haven't existed a long time, I don't have a clever URL yet for it. But if you Google if you search when you're in YouTube, Weichert Referral Associates,
okay,
you will find the page, but I will post the link, direct post, I'm making a note, post the link to YouTube, because there's a playlist that has like all of these 30 days to success videos that I've been posting. I have a playlist that as I release them all, I release it on YouTube also, and then I put the webinars on YouTube. So they're all there. I should probably come up with a snappy domain name and point it there, like Weichert Referrals on YouTube.com. It doesn't exist yet, don't do that. But I'll come up with something. I gotta come up with something. All right, so let's do our winners. So the first one is a $30, well, it's really just a box of free business cards and shipping, which roughly is $30. So, but you can use it for something else in our design center, should you want. So I am going to scroll through the attendees randomly. Zachary Standing, you are the business. Oh, you look shocked, Zachary. You are the winner of the business cards. There you go.
Thanks.
You look so we will reach out to you and help get them set up for you and then ship them to you. So
All right, thank you.
You are the business card winner. And then the other one, so for this, I need you guys to let me know if you are in our Facebook group. So you can in the chat write me or yes. If you are in our Facebook group, we do a special. So I am trying to get you guys into my Facebook group. If you don't notice my subtle, not so subtle, hint there. So everybody can I'll give you guys a couple of seconds so you can type it in and I can scroll through. Hang on. All right. I am picking Miss Lucille, and I don't want to pronounce your name incorrectly. Why don't you pronounce it for me, Miss Lucille? Oh my God, I know I'm going to mispronounce it.
It's Pigot Pro.
Pigot, okay. I wasn't sure where the accents went, so I didn't want to discombobulate it. So it's a $50 Amazon gift card. What it is, it's a code. We send you the code. So if you're on Amazon, in the promo code section, you just put it in and you have your $50. Order something nice on Amazon. We appreciate you guys all being here. I'm just trying to see if anybody else had anything else. Hang on one second. Somebody hang on one second. I saw somebody asked a question that I did not get to answer. Hang on. Somebody said, for the split, if I recall, there is a fee if it's placed with Weichert, but not brand X. It's not anymore. It's the same. Okay. That's always like a ridiculous thing. I don't even know why. And here's how it works in reality. So the other side, whoever it is, brand X or Weichert or whoever, the 30% portion is the referral commission. That's what's split with us. That's what the split is. The 7.5 is an admin fee that they pay. That's not part of the split. If, let's say, we end up in a deal that only is doing 30% for some reason, it's brand X and we're only getting 30% because that's all we can get, we waive our admin fee and we still just split. We don't we don't want you to ever make less. We're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if it's at 30%, we're gonna split it 50-50. We're not gonna deduct 7.5% and then split it 50-50. So that admin fee, we try to get, it helps cover, expenses. It's just the other side pays it. But if for some reason we're not getting it, we don't take it out of your part. If we, for some reason, ends up at 25%, we're splitting it 50-50. That's why I'm like, I don't know why people are fighting for 25% because they're making 12.5% versus 15%, like on it. And we get it for you guys most of the time. So I urge you to let us try, because I feel like people get beat down by the other side who goes, oh no, I'm only giving you a 25% referral. And if you've already given them your clients, and you've already given them your client's information, and your client has already written up a contract, bad news for you, you're only going to get the 25% because we have no leverage. But if you let us do it from the beginning and we haven't turned over the pot of gold to them, which is your client, then we'll get what we're supposed to get. And it works out, but it really does. Any other questions?
Karen, I just wanted to expand on that. This is Lynn Everins. If we place the referral with Weichert though, is there the admin fee with that?
Yeah, it's 37.5% across the board. It's the same as Lead Network. It's just the company lead program. Like, so when people get leads from Weichert.com, they go to the office, the leads get placed at the office. It's 37. It's the same. It's just the way that it's.
But is there a fee on top of that? Because I recall when I first signed up, the breakout or the equation that was shown to me was that it was 37.5% for the referral, but then the split with Weichert for the referral agent and Weichert, there was it was like 50-50, but then there was a fee added on to that.
No, it's no. And if you're thinking, no, it's not. So I at some point, there's a video that I did, like the how make more money video. I don't know, which shows the exact thing, but the way I like everybody to think about it, it's 37.5. The 7.5 is admin, not whatever. The 30% is what gets split 50-50. Down, that's it. That's what it is. That's what gets split. Like I said, if for some reason we're accepting less on the referral, we're just going to split it 50-50. Then we just give up that extra thing. We give it up. We still, because we don't want to take it from you. You know what I mean? We don't want to take it.
So
referral commission section.
So the 37.5% is not split 50-50. It's the 30%
Yes.
that is split
Yes.
50-50.
Yes.
Okay. So, but if I have a friend who works for Coldwell Banker and I'm able to negotiate with her like a 37.5% referral, and I split that 50% with you guys, and I'm actually getting more.
No, it's the same. It doesn't matter whether it's brand X or anything. And that's my point, is you guys shouldn't be negotiating any of this with the other agents. You should tell us, I have a referral. I want it to go to this person at Coldwell Banker. We'll reach out to them and get it placed, and we would do it. Because when you're in the position of being the negotiating part, you're not supposed to be negotiating commissions or negotiating any of that. You're supposed to place the referral with us, and then we negotiate and place the referrals. So, and the splits are the same. Brand X, Weichert, franchise, it's all the same. I feel like there was another email I missed. So hold on. Can a referral agent work with a broker near them? I'm not quite sure what you mean, work with a broker. Okay, do you mean go into, I'm not sure who asked this, go into the office, or I'm not quite sure if that person is still on. So yeah, I'm not sure. And somebody had asked, and I can't tell who it is. I'll ask this. Sorry, I'm just reading the chats, trying to just go. Okay. All right. Well, I think I got everybody as I can right now. I don't want to go any longer for everybody else. Anybody else have any last minute questions that were important? Oh, somebody asked, what is the real problem about allowing referral associates to view the MLS? The problem is, to be on the MLS, you have to belong to the national, you have to belong to NAR and NAJAR. and all of that, all of those things. And when you are in a like an office, the office belongs to NAR and to whatever the local board is. And that gives you permission to join the MLS. We don't intentionally, we don't belong to NAR or any of the boards, because that allows us to function without making every single referral associate have to belong to the board and the MLS and pay E&O insurance. So that's how we're able to have you not have to have those expenses, is because we don't belong to a board and we don't have MLS access. So that's the reason referral associates can't have MLS access, because you don't belong to the board anymore. So hope that answers your, that's it. Okay, guys. So that's it. If anybody has any other questions, you can always email me directly. I am so glad you came. I want to thank you all. And
Thank
talk
Thank
to
you.
guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So long. I'm just still reading comments on the sides. Bye, guys. So long.